Today I'm going to share with you a literary analysis of the novel named Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. We need to implement the triad approach learned in our English literature course because we are expected to know and learn how to do it, since through it one can break any complex masterpiece into pieces. I mean, to know more about the author, to know more about the movement and the masterpiece itself, but also to gain a better understanding of it, how these masterpieces contribute to the current world, to the current society, but mostly how these masterpieces contribute to the literature. To continue, I have to tell you the plan to be followed. First of all, the analysis will be focused on the contextual framework. Here one can learn and know who the author is, the movement, the gender in which the masterpiece is placed. The other part I took into consideration is what kind of reader it is intended for, and the end of this first part I will talk about if the novel is placed in social, literary, historical, cultural, political, religious, or in an economical context. Secondly, we will work with the linguistic framework, the beauty of the novel. The author used to embellish and clear his thoughts and ideas. Also about the kind of English and the vocabulary used in it. And finally, we will work with the semantic framework, or what I think it is a kind of meeting of thinkers where I can share with you my own interpretations, other opinions, the meaning of some words in the novel, and the tone and themes the author used to create his novel.
This masterpiece was written by Jane Austen, who was born in Steventon on December 16 in 1775 and died in Winchester on July 18 in 1817 at the age of 42 years old. She never got married, and for that reason, all his characters in her novels were obsessed with marriage. How you know, marriage was seen as an economical transaction in that epoch. She was the seventh of eight children, and her novels were the first literary works to acknowledge this complex dance of gender and social convention in a way that was funny, perceptive, and realistic. Jane Austen belongs to the classic Regency era. It occurred from 1811 to 1820, when King George III was declared unfit to rule for reason of insanity. This period, the Regency era, is characterized by romance novels and historical fictions. Austen mocked over indulgence and vanity of all kinds in her novels. Place the masterpiece in the developmental features. I have to say that spout towns have existed in Britain at least since Roman times, improvements, and have been made in transport and roads. In Northanger Abbey, one can realize that spout towns became fashionable phrases where the upper classes could see and be seen, creating new and solidifying old connections among them. Marriageable young people were introduced to society and matches were made. Shopping, dancing, and gambling were popular activities in that epoch. Austen set significant parts of the novel in the spa town of Bath, and also a time of war was developed in the epoch the Napoleonic Wars grew out of the French Revolution between 1789 and 1802, and were a series of conflicts fought by various European allies against Napoleon's French Empire, which began in 1803 and finished with Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo in 1815. This picture in Austen's novels or about this war is seen through the General Tilney and his son Frederick, who were military men. So maybe she used these characters for show us that part of that epoch. Socially, I have to say that Austen's novels reflect the hierarchical framework that provided the same structure for Regency society, and the aristocracy and gentry were limited power by ensuring and holding properties, lands, and the family name. Economical marriage was very important because English social structure did allow women few rights and no independence, and any inherited thing became the possession of their husband on marriage. So for that reason, most men were interested in getting married with wealthy women. We can see that in the novel, a single woman belonged to her father and was financially dependent on him. But once married, this dependence was transferred to her husband. Another thing that is important in Austen novels is education. That education of women was undervalued, but Jane Austen challenged the views of these conduct book writers with the creation of her energetic, active, intelligent heroines, and Isabel is one of them, of course. In terms of religious, Jane Austen was raised in a religious atmosphere who appreciate the moral framework, and it is said that Austen was strongly influenced by the King James Bible, talking about linguistic influence. The state of church in that epoch is placed in the Northanger Abbey. Isabel's father is a clergyman. About the gender, it is a novel, but I have to say that it is influenced for many other kinds of novel, maybe realistic, gothic, and sentimental ones. The kind of reader required for Austen's novels are those that particularly want to educate their emotions, but also that allows Jane to enter in their minds closely to link the author characters and the readers themselves. And I think contemporary readers are the best for this because imagination is the principal picture when reading Austen novels. Let's continue with the linguistic framework. Northanger Abbey is a third-person narrative which allows readers to engage with and judge the character. The story is told with objectivity and control. Jane Austen's use of adjectives gives the passages a poetic quality. She tried to embellish the loss of youth, love, and hope. So in that way, that was important. This novel, or I have to say that all her novels use free indirect discourse. In using it, the reader can have a more intimate and immediate access to a character's thoughts and feelings. And also, it allows Austen to manage the subjectivity of the character's consciousness. And finally, in the linguistic framework, I found that Jane Austen was shy about figurative language, but he used to implement symbols and metaphors as figures of speech, and metonym as rhetorical terms, devices in which something is defined by what is associated with it. For example, consider how Isabella is defined by her connection with a pool of commerce in page 86, and the final framework is the semantic one. I have to say that I love this novel because it presents the real role of women through history. And in the reception of Jane Austen, Walter Scott, a comparative longitudinal study by Annika Bowes, it said that Austen not wrote about her entire life, but also about things she wanted to be different, to tell how important is a woman in our lives and all the troubles they have to face. The meaning of heroine in his novels, in her novels, is a woman with is not a woman with superpowers, but a girl to fight against destiny, society, culture, ideologies, and to become her dreams and goals true. The themes developed in the Northanger Abbey and in most of her novels are morality, how standards are and rules are implemented in society and in the epoch, and religious individuality and society itself. And Jane Austen established an ironic tone in order to create a gap between appearance and reality, which is also comically exposed. In conclusion, I think it is an important novel because it gave us an idea of all those aspects related to women role in that epoch, and also if we make a comparison between the epoch and right now, we can take into account that some things I haven't changed yet. I recommend this novel because the significant insight it gave to us about the women role, about the epoch, about Jane Austen's life, but also because it would give us a better understanding of United Kingdom, its culture,